So thank you again for making your way here. Selamat siang. And that's all the Bahasa I'm going to speak. So can we have the next slide? Can we have the next slide? Thank you. Yeah, that's fine. So so just a quick introduction before we begin today's event. My name is Tiang. You can follow me on Twitter at Tianglim, Tianglim. I'm one of the partners at SeedPlus. So we are a very early stage VC firm based in Singapore. Next slide. Okay. So yeah, I think so. One thing that we started investing since 2015, so a relatively young VC fund, right? Prior to being a VC, I was at a company called Evernote. Hopefully some of you know what that is. So I started the Singapore office in 2012, launched a product and ran the region for 4 years before doing this. And the intent here is that we saw an opportunity to work with founders and developers. Who here is working on a startup right now here? Who's a developer? Okay, great. So this is a startup, just to check that you're at the right venue. So this is a startup event. So yeah, we want to work with founders and developers like yourself, right? Because we think that there's an opportunity in Southeast Asia right now to build, if not regional, but global disruptive startups. Us standing here today in GO-JEK's office is a testament to that, right? Look at within a short model is interesting. We might even do a seed funding in your company. Okay, so in short, this is the program for today. Like I said, I'm not the hero. Oh, yeah, there we go. So I'm not the hero, right? We have a few very, I think they're celebrities, right? I was told that Norman's a celebrity in Jakarta. I know Dara's a celebrity. So you didn't come here to see me, you come here to talk to them, right? So we have a very stellar lineup today, and then we'll end off by a Q&A at 2:30 to 3. So keep your questions coming. I'm watching on Twitter. So and at the end of
mic check. Good afternoon, selamat sore semuanya. Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation for me to be here today. Budiman, friends from AWS, SeedPlus, thank you very much. So, yeah, bajunya sama, I wear this every day. Sampai si Feral think I work for this company, but I'm not. So, nama saya Norman. My name is Norman. I am CTO and co-founder of BIZZY. Before that, yeah, as you can tell from the color of my beard, I'm really young anymore. I spent almost 20 years in professional work in software engineering, with 8 years in Microsoft. And then joining BIZZY.
You are basically founders or early management team, or like chairman of a startup. Okay. Anyone else working in tech startup? Employees, maybe? Okay, so we have like 80% maybe founders and management team, and then some 10-15% employees. Which sector are you from? Fintech? We have fintech, okay. On-demand services. On-demand services. Okay, ladies, hello. Oh yeah, and gentlemen over there. What about maybe edutech, education technology? Yeah, some hands in the air. Where else? What other sectors? Transportation, tourism, and then payment, fintech, okay. Software as a service, of course. Forgot to mention that big chunk of tech space, yeah. Human resource, yeah, part of software as a service, I guess. Not really, it's a different model. Okay, interesting. Okay, any other sectors left unmentioned? Farming, agriculture tech. Oh, thank you for presenting. Cool. So it's diversity of sectors.
To see strong, amazing, big companies that come out of our side of the world. I was working for an investment bank. My background is in business and computer science from NTU in Singapore. At the time, I was working in investment bank technology, which was Barclays. I was working in London, Tokyo, Singapore, and New York, just shuttling around. And I felt like, why do I want to work for a big company when I could, get some of my friends together and start something and build something that I can personally be proud of. In a big bank, I felt like a small part of a very big machine. Whereas in a startup, I felt like my contributions make direct impact. Like Dara said, if I slack, that means the company is going to not perform. And that to me means a lot. It really keeps me up, and I am very driven to get things going. So when we started out, we were very small, about 15 or 20 of us, and we did crowdfunding. The first loan that we did was about 200,000.
Yeah, so thanks so much for the sharing just now. It was great. I was taking notes, right? The 5 Ps actually. Maybe we should repeat that. But yeah, each of them maybe have one. Cool. So if you have any questions, I'm trying to look at Twitter right now. No one's asking questions. Okay, my experiment failed. I'm gonna pivot. So I'm gonna pivot. So maybe I'll start off with my own question, right? So it's actually a nice kind of a blend of experiences, product, business, right, and technology. So maybe start from Pramodh, right? When you were joining the founding team at Funding Society's MODALKU, right? How do you decide, maybe you
create set of criteria or build startups to find such co-founders and so on and so forth? It just happened. Yeah, I know Peter for ages. So basically, you also will face this. You will need co-founders because it is hard to run these things alone by yourself. So when we knew each other, it was never all had a discussion about building a startup and whatnot. We were just like, I saw this bule guy work out, wearing MMA outfit, like Venom and all this. And I was just like, I'm also into this kind of things. And by the way, I practice and I actively compete in jiu-jitsu competitions. So we can talk about it after the session.
We have a crypto guy, there's a martial arts person. So.
And yeah, we just happen to be friends. And I work at Microsoft, comfortable. I enjoy what I do as a technology guy, working in one of the most respectful technology company in the world. It's just like I'm always there, very comfortable. And Peter has his gigs going on. Till one day when he was at other lab, he came to me and bring these ideas about the B2B e-commerce and e-procurement, the kind of problems that exist, and the kind of solution that we possibly build and solve this problem. So I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I was also thinking, like, if I'm not doing this now, kapan lagi gitu ya? So I have to execute this. And about the guy, I mean, we already like click. One of the key things that you should have with your co-founders is like the chemistry. I think ini susah-susah gampang ya, kayak cari jodoh gitu. You never know. You can set the criteria, jodoh gue mesti begini, tinggi sekian, berat sekian, GPA sekian. But when you just met, you just like, that's it gitu. Jadi sometimes you cannot really do that gitu. And yeah, I always think co-founders relationships will be like, like in the like the Chili Peppers between Anthony and Flea. Or in Linkin Park between Chester and Mike Shinoda, you should have that kind of chemistry, really, because you will work with him every day, with her every day, day in, day out. At night, you will, like yell to each other and so forth. So you need to be really comfortable, and you should have this complementing skill set and experience. I mean, Peter came with this MBA.
Okay. Just wanted to give a shout out to my CTO of GoLive, Ahmed, at the corner, who joined us last year. Ahmed just very recently last year. And when you asked me that question, I just brought me to the memory when I first met with Ahmed. Because before Ahmed, I was on my own. Basically, at tech leadership, we only had a tech lead, and while that role is already very strategic, but I needed a thought partner whom I can just bounce off ideas, but not only in tech but also in business, and who can challenge me when I come up with a product idea, business model idea, or operating model idea, and on day to day can be someone you can always count on for everything about your startup. So I didn't have that person until I met with Ahmed, and he was the first person I met, because then we go live 2016. We had 4 products. We were probably a Series A equivalent startup if this was like a spin-off company. But then, as most Series A or Series or like Stage A funded startup, we had our own challenges, and that was a scaling challenges where these are the moment when the demand picked up, and we had capabilities, full-fledged capabilities internally, but our product basically just like broke down. Every day there's like an hour to 4 hours time when our app was just inaccessible, it crashed. And this was for 6 months when we were devastated, because this is the perfect timing when like customers are accepting our product, they're very excited about it, we see like 13% month-on-month growth, and then the product just broke down. So we need someone to help give up the capability of the technology team. And then I was like, okay, this is a very difficult role to find in this market where tech resources is scarcity. It's scarcity across all product design. So not tech, basically engineering, product, and product design resources are always in scarcity. If you're looking for someone with 1 to 2 years experience in engineering, maybe that's still okay and it's easy to find. But once you go to like 8 years plus, right? And for Ahmad, it was like 12 years plus. Good luck with that, right? It's so difficult to find the CTO equivalent capability in the market. And I was like, okay, I was just going to try my luck, and I came up with a list which includes the list of the CTO of some of the unicorn companies. I was very bullish then. But Ahmad was on top of my list because I went through all this LinkedIn profile, and I was thinking about how can I prioritize this profile. It was like 20 people with CTO capabilities. Of course, they were all CTO, and they were all like, as co-founder, they are committed to their own startup. How can I convince this guy to join my startup? With this product that breaks down every day for 4 hours. And the criteria that I was and how I prioritized was I was looking for someone who at least had the experience working in on-demand services. So understanding the sector that you're aiming, the type of product, the operating model, and maybe if you can go deeper into like the kind of architectural design that that your platform is your platform has, probably that would be good. So because Go Live is is a C2C is a C2C fulfillment model where if there's a demand, you just allocate to the nearest available service providers. But it has also aspirations to build like a marketplace equivalent model. So someone who has experience in those two spaces, that would be great to have. Secondly, I guess at least find a co-founder or someone who, despite that he has the capability and probably committed already now, but he hasn't spent too long of a time in that startup, and so probably there's a good chance for you to kind of snatch or poach him or her from his current startup. But then when you meet them, it's about chemistry. It's about whether you click. The kind of questions that I asked to Ahmad is, for example, like something that's very professional, like where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? Where do you see? Then how is now the decision that you make today gets you closer to that decision? For example, looking for commitment. For example, like if you work in a startup, how much time are you committed to that? How are you striking the balance with your family and work? Let's say if you're breaks. I don't know. I didn't ask that questions then, but I just wanted to know, like, how are you running your day typically?
I can't remember.
But like, how are you running your day typically? And I really want to see someone who's very committed. Rolling out of bed in the morning, and all he thinks about is what impact can I deliver today, and then won't close the day until problems are fixed. And I see that in Ahmed. Ahmed is the type of person who will bring laptop to the cinema because he knows if anything happens with the app or with the back end, he will be able to fix it like there on the spot. So that kind of commitment, level of commitment, I wanted to see from like a partner, especially a tech leader. So I saw all that in Ahmed, and also then you look at the personal side. I like MBTI as a framework that I kind of uphold when I wanted to understand. So MBTI is Myers-Briggs type of interpersonality. And so that's like based on our like day-to-day experience dealing with 28 different products and aiming to launch the next 15 in the next 1 year. You need to have layers of, I guess, validation, right? The most costly validation is if you launch MVP and there's already tech element to it, you have engineers you allocate and they work on whatever the website or the application. That's very costly. We want to avoid that. If you're not sure that idea is already good, or like battle tested, then probably not good idea to allocate already resources. This is very scarce. It's a scarcity in our organizations. One engineer or like 1 hour manpower. It's a scarce resource. And so what we do is we have layers of internal testing that we always conduct before we decide to, we start building, right? Even this is before prototyping, because when you prototype, you already allocate UI designer, UX designer, again, they are also scarcity. So what we do is, if you have an idea and you run market research, you come up with your TM, SOM, and the total available market, and then down to serviceable available market, and then down to serviceable obtainable market, and it's big. For example, total available market is like more than 20 billion, and all the way down, then the market that we can tap within we can attain is around like 2 billion. That's like, so basically, you can be a $2 billion company if you manage to get the share that you're aiming, let's say 15% of the total market. And we run, let's say, consumer survey. It's also validated. So the first one is you have market sizing. Market sizing says it's good, it's promising. You run consumer research, for example. You interface with consumers. You come up with like some sketches.
Like my example for myself would be, I wish I built Apple. I wish like 50 years ago I would have founded Apple. Because it's such a great company. No one talks about money here, so yeah. But that's my example, right? What will your example be? Which company inspired you the most?
I think I can answer first. If I were to found a company, and probably it would be Amazon. Not because AWS is here, but the way I see it is like, I think Jeff Bezos is basically just epitome of like revolution and innovation and like breaking boundaries and pushing the limits. Every sector, industry, products, verticals that they enter, they wing it, they win it, and they create impacts. And they have like 300,000 employees. Those are 300,000 livings there that are relying on Amazon, and like their customers love them, and they love their customers so much. They're obsessed with their customers. So I really love the mindset. I love the outcome, the impact with Amazon.
That's great.
Thank you. It can be a tie 50-50 between two companies.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, if what I can relate to myself are those founders who like have kind of similar background with me. So I tend to look at the companies that are built by geeks, and yeah. First, of course, the company that I came from before is Microsoft. I was really inspired by Bill. He's an amazing guy, a big philanthropist now. And the other one is the founder of Google, Sergey Brin, not Larry, for reason that Sergey is a very, he's a mathematician. I can really relate to that. So what these two guys are building, Microsoft and Google, can, like the impact that they bring to the world is just amazing. For personal life or for businesses, it's just great. So yeah.
Obviously, I would like to see the journey we are at to fruition. But if I were to build a company today, I would build a credit bureau, a modern credit bureau. If you notice, actually, most companies and startups right now, they are holding information in silos within their own. They have their own information. GO-JEK, Grab, anyone else who is making payments, transaction history. If I could build a credit bureau that allows people to send their information to us and get financing off the back of it, I think we would have a fundamental generational shift in terms of economic improvement and uplift. That's not easy, but that would be something I want to put my mind to.
That's great. So with that, again, join me to thank the speakers today. I hope that in a few years' time, some of you would say that I want to build the next GO-JEK, the next BIZZY, the next MODALKU, right? So again, we'll be hanging around here today. If you have any questions, come out and ask us any questions and mingle. And another round of applause for yourselves, right? So thank you very much. Terima kasih. Thank you. Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. So before we end, we have a session for AWS. Yes, yeah, just 5 minutes.
Support from SeedPlus, and of course all the great speakers, Dayu, Dara, Norman, and also Pramodh. Learned a lot today. If the question asked to me, I would be one day be like them, right? So I hope you all also be inspired. And AWS, like we probably knows that some of you may have known the brand, but may not be knowing that we are here in Indonesia. In fact, it's already been 2 years in Indonesia, and learning also from Dayu, Dara saying that it's the purpose, right? It's why. Why we are here is definitely like it is not a cliche that can you help me with the next chart, please? Why we are here is because of that we grew with you guys. We grew with the startups, and this is the consistencies that is Amazon. Jeff has been very consistent from the day one that we want to become, the earth most customer centric company.
Yes, please. Can I invite you out here, Norman? Can I trouble you again? I'll try to do like I don't have a stick, so I just gotta. Oh, but I want to do this. Yeah. Yeah. We can read the code. Okay. Okay, come here. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3. No more. Okay, great. Okay. Yeah. I'll tweet it, yeah. Thank you very much.
There's coffee in the next room. There's coffee and food in the next room. So that's where we can all hang out and chat.
This prototype can help you, this product can help you to get whatever benefits, right? Would you be willing to use it? Ya atau tidak? Atau kalau 1 sampai 10, what is the likelihood you would use it? Kalau dia sudah bilang, nanti aku saling sama Hanif ya. Thanks so much. Thank you. Sukses. Oh, nanti ya saya lagi mau datang sebentar. Halo, nama saya Dara, saya VP di GO-JEK. And now we just finished with an event. Saya baru saja menjadi salah satu pembicara di event AWS and SeedPlus. And di dalam ruangan ini tadi banyak sekali founders yang bertanya seluk-beluk mengenai running and building startup. Semoga acara ini bermanfaat dan ini akan menjadi salah satu acara dari banyak lagi event-event atau awal dari banyak lagi event-event yang bisa kita adakan sama-sama. Saya Dara untuk ndt.com.
Media.com.
Oh, media.com. Saya Dara untuk media.com. Terima kasih.